Yeah, I feel like you pitched the Civil War thing, which I loved. I loved that episode. And for the drowning thing with Stefan, it was, starts as a metaphor, ends up as a hundred and something gallon tank or however many thousands of gallons of water they built. Because I was like, well, it won't be this because we could never build a tank to do this. And then next thing you know, they're building a tank with a window and a fire and a sky. It's really
Season 7, baby. Season 7,
good.
Pascal was like, what do you need?
I know. We can build it.
I mean, that Civil War episode, though, Neil, my God, that might be one of our best, in my opinion.
I love that episode.
Well, that was a collaboration with Holly Bricks was the other writer on that. And I can't remember who or when or collectively how we decided to do a Groundhog Day episode, but the structure is sort of perennial. And when you're talking about how do you represent hell, and I think there's a reason for it, which is that the repetition and the grind of it is fun. It sort of traps the character in and makes them ask the question, why is this happening? Why this day? Like, of all the days, this doesn't register on like, my wound scale. But then when you keep really pushing that over and over, then it just becomes a therapy episode. And you're just trying to get to the core or the deeper trauma. And at that point in the season, it had to be about Lily. Because I think Damon had like failed to say goodbye to her as she was dying. And so, at that point in the season, it couldn't really be about Elena. We had sort of like our consciousness had started to drift away from it. It's always about Stefan, but we sort of knew that Stefan was going to be about Damon. So we went into some Damon mommy issues and then just kind of wrapped it in a very dynamic Civil War shell.
I'm gonna die knowing my own son hates me.
Yes, he does.
All the departments so pulled together and just knocked it out of the park on that one. Just like they were excited too because it was different for them. But I mean, they put on a battlefield. Like they created the Civil War kind of simulation, which was so great and so engaging and kind of awful, but also wonderful because we got to see the inner Damon of before, and I think that's something that's always fascinating when you know characters so well as their vampire selves and Damon's, the one who says for me to know and you to ... like he's that guy when we meet him. Yeah. But in the Civil War, he was a guy. He thought he was doing the right thing, and he had this very tortured day. Yeah.
And I remember in season 1 because in the books he was a Confederate soldier, right? And so we're like, all right, honor the books, make him a Confederate soldier, but he's a deserted soldier. And we sort of like gave 2 seconds of lip service to that in the first season. And then this was our sort of way of like telling the story of ultimately how he ended up no longer a Confederate soldier. But yeah, no, Deb Chow really crushed that. And Darren Janae shot it and Gareth Stover built it. And I mean, my God, it was just a feat. When you do a show that's like that long, when you write a good episode, when you see a good episode come together, you have almost like a greater sense of pride in a good episode in season 7 than you do in season 1 because they get harder and harder and harder to make great at a certain point. So that one was special.